Have you ever seen giraffe meat in a butcher shop? Probably never. Cows, goats, sheep, chickens, ducks, and fish are easily found in the markets, but giraffe meat is almost never seen in most countries of the world. Why is this? Can giraffes not be eaten? Is its meat harmful? Is it just because of the law? Or is there 1,000-year-old human history, nature, economy, and evolution hidden behind this secret that most people never even think about? In today's video, we will find the answer to just one question. But this one question will take us thousands of years back to a time when man had no cities, no fields, no farms, no refrigerators, no markets, and no modern methods of preserving meat. He was just a hunter. And every morning he would set out with the hope that he would return with food for his family by evening. If he did not find prey, the whole family would go to bed hungry. At that time, a strange scene was common in the vast plains of Africa. Golden grass stretched far and wide. Sometimes herds of antelopes would be seen running. Sometimes zebras would cross the plains with their stripes. Sometimes elephants would slowly walk between the trees. And among all of them, one animal would silently raise its long neck to the sky and eat leaves from the highest branches of the trees. It was the giraffe. Its neck was so long that it could easily get food from places where other animals could not reach. A person watching from afar would probably think that if such a large animal were hunted, it could become food for the entire tribe for several days. But the reality was quite the opposite. Ancient hunters certainly saw giraffes, but they often did not pursue them. There was not just one reason. Rather, there were several reasons that kept humans away from giraffes for thousands of years. First of all, we have to understand the giraffe itself. The giraffe is the tallest land animal in the world. It can be almost as tall as a two-story building. Its legs have extraordinary strength, and this strength makes it strong even in the face of the most dangerous predators in the forest. You must have heard the lion called the king of the jungle. But the interesting thing is that even the lion does not dare to attack every giraffe. When lions go out to hunt giraffes, they usually attack in the form of a group of several lions. They also mostly target weak, sick, or young giraffes, because if a healthy adult giraffe kicks with full force, it can break the bones of a lion. Wildlife experts have recorded several incidents in which a single kick from a giraffe seriously injured a lion. Now think about it. If a giraffe is such a difficult prey for a powerful lion, how could a man who came out thousands of years ago with a spear and a stone easily hunt it? This was the first clue that made man understand that not every large animal is easy prey. But that was not all that was difficult. The giraffe is not only powerful, but also surprisingly smart. Its large eyes can see far. Its long neck acts like a natural watchtower. While other animals are just looking around, the giraffe senses even the slightest movement several hundred meters away. And as soon as it senses danger, it silently turns around and then suddenly runs. Many people would be surprised that such a large animal can run at a speed of about 55 to 60 kilometers per hour. It was almost impossible for an ancient hunter to chase it. Now imagine a scenario. 5 or 6 hunters from a tribe go out early in the morning. They have limited food. Water is also scarce. They know that if they don't find prey today, their children will have to go to bed hungry. In such a situation, would they go after an animal that has a higher chance of escaping? Or would they choose an animal that can be hunted with relatively little risk and in a short time? Naturally, they took the second path. And perhaps this was the moment from which the history of human food began to change. But this is just the beginning. The real surprise comes when humans stopped hunting and started domesticating animals. And then a decision was made that forever determined that cows, goats, and sheep would become our food, but not giraffes. We saw that hunting giraffes was not only difficult, but also extremely dangerous for ancient man. But if this were the only reason, perhaps even today, different countries of the world would be building giraffe farms, just like cow, goat, and sheep farms are built. But this never happened. Now the question is, what was it that kept man away from giraffes forever? The answer to this takes us about 10,000 years ago, when a revolution occurred in human life that changed the entire world. This was the beginning of animal domestication. Man realized that going hunting every day was both dangerous and uncertain. If animals were kept close to him, food could be available at all times. After this thought, man started trying different animals. Some animals soon started living with man. The cow accepted the farm. The goat came down from the mountains and joined man. The sheep learned to live in herds. The chickens began to lay eggs. All these animals had one thing in common. They were relatively calm, could live in a confined space, their food was easy to manage, and their breeding was also possible under human supervision. But the giraffe, he was completely different from all of them. The giraffe's entire life is connected with open fields. He travels many kilometers every day. He does not eat only one type of grass, but picks different types of leaves from the high branches of trees, especially those of acacia trees. His diet, his movements, and his body structure agriculture are all adapted to a vast natural environment. Now imagine, if you wanted to farm an animal with a neck that was over 2 meters long, that needed tall trees, that traveled long distances every day, how much space, how much food, and how many resources would it require? The cost of raising just one giraffe can be much higher than many other animals. And then another problem arises. If a giraffe gets scared, it can kick with its powerful hind legs in a way that can be fatal to humans or other animals. That's why it's not easy to take care of it either. That's why thousands of years ago, man unconsciously made a choice. He adopted animals that were easy to raise, safe, and profitable. And the giraffe, he remained an animal of the forest. Time passed. Cities were built. Trade began. Markets for buying and selling meat emerged. But even in these markets, only those animals that could be raised in large numbers on farms prevailed. The giraffe never became part of this system. Then another fact emerges, which very few people think about. The meat of an animal is not common simply because it can be eaten. Rather, it is common because it can be produced sustainably, safely, and economically. Billions of people in the world today eat meat. If everyone started hunting wild animals, most wildlife would disappear within a few years. That is why the modern world has come to rely on farms. And giraffes have not proven to be suitable animals for farms. But one important question still remains: if giraffes exist somewhere, wouldn't people still eat their meat? We learned that giraffes are neither easily domesticated nor suitable for the commercial meat industry. But one question still remains: do people in the world eat giraffe meat? The answer is yes, but to a very limited extent. Historically, in some parts of Africa, some indigenous tribes hunted various wild animals, including giraffes, when necessary. But this was not an everyday diet, nor did it become a common practice worldwide. Most meat in the world today is obtained from animals that are raised on farms, because this method is considered safer, cheaper, and more sustainable. Now, another important fact comes to light. In the past several decades, the number of giraffes has decreased in some areas. The main reasons for this are the loss of forests and natural habitats, the spread of human population, and illegal hunting. That is why many African countries have imposed strict laws on the hunting and trade of giraffes in order to preserve their population. But the importance of the giraffe is not limited to its beauty. It is an important part of the forest ecosystem. When a giraffe eats leaves from the high branches of trees, it plays a role in balancing the natural growth of the tree. At the same time, it also helps to transport seeds to different areas, which increases the chances of new plants growing. Every living thing in nature has a role. If one link is weakened, it can affect the entire system. Perhaps this is why most people in the world today consider giraffes to be a wild heritage, not an everyday food. Now let's go back to our first question. Why don't we ever eat giraffe meat? Now the answer is quite clear. Not because the giraffe is necessarily inedible, but because its prey is difficult and dangerous. It is extremely expensive and impractical to raise it on farms. It is a naturally free-ranging animal. It is not a suitable choice for the modern meat industry. There are laws in many areas to protect it, and it plays an important role in the ecological balance. All these reasons together indicate that the giraffe could not be included in the animals that humans made their food thousands of years ago. And perhaps this is why, even today, when we see a giraffe slowly eating leaves from the high branches of trees in a safari park or forest, we do not think of its meat, but rather a sense of a wonderful creation of nature. That is the beauty of nature. Not every animal is made for man's plate. Some animals are also necessary to maintain the natural beauty of the earth and the ecological balance. If today's video taught you something new, be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because in our next video, we will also find the answer to a similar interesting question, which you may have never considered before. Until then, take care of yourself.